welcome to this week's episode of Asexuals Anonymous, the podcast where we talk all about asexuality. If you'd like to get in touch, please do. We absolutely love reading your emails and talking about them afterwards as well. The email address is asexualsanon@hotmail.com, and my DMs on TikTok are always open. Amy Butler 66, AMIEBUTLER, and my Instagram DMs are also always open, Amy Butler 96. Now, let's get on with this week's episode. Hello, if you are watching this on YouTube, because we are available on YouTube now, it's just me with the video because obviously my friend is still anonymous. So if you want to watch me talking and listening, we're on YouTube, and if you are watching me talking and listening, you're going to see I'm in the same jumper and I'm in the exact same sort of setup because we are recording this straight after last week's episode. A little peep behind the curtain. Don't say we don't spoil you. So forgive me for this. However, I actually don't think many people do watch it on YouTube, so we're fine.
You just outed us.
I did just out us, but yeah, let's get the views up on YouTube. Go on, give it a little watch. Stick it on in the background. You don't even need to watch it. Just give us the views.
Put it on when you're cleaning, when you're cooking.
Exactly.
All that jazz.
All that jazz. Also, do give us a comment and the likes and the rates, the subscribes, the downloads, all of that stuff, because it's really cool to really push the podcast out there and reach everyone that we need to reach. Hello, anonymous friend. I've not even said hi yet.
Hi.
I feel like I'm talking so much this episode. I've randomly got like a burst of energy.
That's good. It's good. I don't mind. We don't need to really do the hellos, how are yous, because we have told them that we're recording this back to back. So
true.
You could ask me how I am again, and I could just tell you I'm fine.
No. There was something that I was going to ask you in the last episode. However, I didn't. So I'm going to ask you now. Oh. Thoughts on the Arsenal FC dating show?
Yep, I got that email. Oh.
I'm so interested, and I'm also like so tempted to sign up.
I am fascinated by this idea because part of me is negative Nancy, and I'm gonna be like, I'm kind of in the middle of it. Part of me is a bit like, guys, you wouldn't do this for men's football. Stop making it a dating show. It's just about the football. So there's the negative Nancy side of me that's a little bit like that. But then there's the other side of me that's like, haha, they don't do this for the men's.
I think I'm on that side. I was literally about to say, like,
it's just the girls. And I think that they actually know that, you know, because there is a lot of talk, especially when you go to the games and when you see on their social media of Arsenal as a team, men's and women's, just kind of Arsenal altogether, is very inclusive of the LGBTQIA plus community. Like there's a lot of rainbow flags. There's a lot of influence from the gay gooners. There's one of the games that I went to, they had a group of women at the stadium. Well, possibly women, I don't know however they identify. And they were part of a group called Dykes Who Hike, and it was like a group of people who go out and they meet up, and one of their things is that they go for like nice long hikes, and they all went to the Emirates Stadium together, and that was part of their one of their meetups. And I think that the inclusion that Arsenal has is brilliant. So I think they've really honed in on the fact that a lot of people go to Arsenal games are part of a different community, and it's a safe space. So they're now kind of going, well, you know what? It's like any kind of LGBTQIA plus dating evening or event. It's to make it a safe place for people with similar interests to meet each other. So I am more on the positive side of it, I think. I won't be signing up personally, but I do think it's good. It is just a bit funny to me that they've turned it into Love Island.
I think they're just giving the audience what they want. Like the amount of times that I've heard like there needs to be a football dating app, or do you know what I mean? And they're kind of making it happen.
People make TikToks and they're like looking confused at an Arsenal women's game and setting my Hinge to 1 kilometre. Like
literally that. I think they're onto something, and I can't wait to see how this plays out. Also, yeah, going on from what you were saying, how Arsenal is so inclusive and like really
And
top
there's
of the
lots of
game.
other football clubs that are inclusive. Obviously, I'm just shouting at Arsenal because that's like our experience, my experience. But
But
yeah,
also, I think they are like one of the only football clubs who are really shouting about it and celebrating it. Like I don't really see any other clubs where they've got pride flags and rainbow flags and trans flags and blah 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 actually on the pitch. Like the flag wavers are waving
yeah.
one of those flags. Do you know what I mean? And at the game at the weekend where they had the big fireworks and it was the rainbow colours, like it's clearly
I'm going to be real. I
LGBTQIA+.
didn't get to experience the. Would you like to know why I didn't get to experience the lovely flag and the rainbow fireworks and the pyrotechnics?
Oh.
Because I was underneath the rainbow flag. That's where my seat is.
I was thinking this. I was like, those people under that flag,
Yep, I
they've
was
been
one.
sold the cheap seats.
Yep, it's really nice to hear everyone being like woo, and you can hear the bangs, and I'm like, I'm sure this is going to look
Oh,
great on everyone else's TikTok, but there
it
I am
it did
under
look
the
really
flag,
good.
and
It
that
looked
flag
really
stank.
did
They've
it. Is
clearly
that
kept that
sweet?
in some kind of cupboard. It
Yeah.
was, it was, it was a
Well,
really interesting smell.
I don't think it's going to fit in any kind of washing machine. It's
No, I know.
massive.
Could they not Febreze it for me next time, just so I have a slightly better
And you know what? It went really well on TikTok because it went really well with the hosier's yell.
Yes. Yeah, when I saw your video, I was like, oh, there's me.
Oh, mate, I'm sorry that happened to you.
It's all right. I'm always under a flag. I actually quite enjoy the experience now because I'm just like, well, it's not going to make a difference. Like, it's
If
just
anyone,
funny.
if anyone from Arsenal's listening, just give it a quick Febreze
Yeah,
the
that'd be
night
so good. That
before, the
would be
morning
so
before.
good. I would
Yeah, that'd
really,
be
really
great.
appreciate it. Thanks.
But yeah. Also, there was a gay for you. I don't know if you saw it.
Yeah, with Harriet
Harriet
Rose.
Rose.
Yeah,
I love Harriet Rose
I
so
do.
much. But yeah, she put on a little event, which actually I really wanted to go to as well. But I didn't get the tickets. But it looked really, really cool. Very jealous
Yeah,
of everyone that went.
yeah.
Um,
So, are you going to sign up for the Arsenal dating show?
I'm tempted. I am because also I can sign up and also drop out. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I've had
exactly.
another dating show actually approach me on TikTok, and I'm like, oh, I don't know. Oh, but also they're doing first dates abroad.
Oh,
I'm thinking free holiday in the
treat
Mediterranean,
treat
and
yourself.
I
Yeah,
could also
go.
find the love of my life.
Very, very true.
I might.
And I
I
don't think
might.
there's been any asexual people on first dates, so
Do you know what I
it
mean?
would
I was
be
also a couple.
interesting for them.
Yeah, a couple of years ago, I was thinking, do I go on Married at First Sight?
No. I actually know someone who went on Married at First Sight
Oh,
in
really?
its very, very early days. So not how it is now, but
On the year above me at college went on it, but I don't. Yeah, I don't know if it's for me. Anyway, let's get on with this week's episode. Um, there is a topic that I kind of want to talk about, and I don't really know um, what I'm going to say on the topic or what we're going to talk about here.
oh, that fills me with terror.
Fills me with a bit of terror, actually. I should have probably planned this in my head.
It's all
Um,
right. We love a chaotic episode.
we do, and I'm actually just very interested. I feel like this topic is quite outing for me because I don't know. I've not spoken about this to anyone, and I don't know what you're going to say, how people are going to receive this, whether it's normal, whether it's just a me situation.
Right.
And I'm a little
Okay.
bit scared.
It's okay. I'll hold your hand through the screen and we'll get through it together.
Thanks. So, I don't know how to start it. Oh my god. I've got a hot water bottle, right? And it's just, I don't think that was a good idea because I'm burning up here at the thought. One sec. It's like a Velcro hot water bottle. Again, for anyone who's watching on YouTube, it's this. It's brilliant. It goes around my waist and it keeps me nice and warm.
You love
Anyway.
a hot water bottle.
Oh my god. Oh, yes. They're like the best things that were ever invented. Okay, so this topic is about sex.
Really?
It is. And a fascination on sex, basically. Because I think growing up and to this day, and me as a person, I've been very interested in sex as a whole. And just me?
No, I was waiting for you to finish what you were saying, and then I was gonna say something. Do you want me to? Do you want me to input now?
No, you didn't get. Okay, I don't think you got what I was
No.
as a whole.
Oh,
Sorry, it's my anxious brain being stupid. Anyway,
I was because you said you were nervous and you were getting hot. I was really trying to listen to what you were saying so I could say something like supportive afterwards to make you feel better.
oh sorry, I was just making a stupid
I
joke
wasn't
about
listening to your
holes.
inappropriate joke.
I was being really immature.
That's fine. We love a little bit of immaturity.
Okay, anyway, so I kind of wanted to talk about like a fascination around sex, and I wouldn't say an obsession because that's a very strong word, and it probably puts a bit of a thought in people's heads. So I wouldn't say obsession, but I have got such a fascination with it, and I always have since I was young. I remember watching like the sex education show, which isn't sex education on Netflix, but there used to be a show, I think it was on Channel 4, and it was aimed for young people, probably from the age of like, I don't know, 12 to 16, because they used to go to secondary schools and stuff. And they would just talk about sex and education on romantic relationships and or just any relationships and I know STIs and feelings and all these things were like I just found this show so interesting. Um, and just yeah, I think just learning and educating myself about sex in general, I was always very interested and I wanted to educate myself and I wanted to know more about it. And I think in my head eventually I was like I can't wait for the day where I have those feelings for someone and I'm mature enough to know what to do and act on them, etc., etc. And now I am 28 and I'm asexual, and I'm like, those feelings. I feel like I'm still waiting for those
I'm
feelings. You know what I
waiting
mean?
for
I'm
the
still
buzz.
waiting. Yeah, I'm waiting to mature and stuff. But I have always had like an obsession with like kissing as well. Like, I don't know, maybe I'm just interested in the how people create those feelings for other people, and maybe that interest came from me because I find it difficult or I feel those feelings very rarely. Now I know that kind of thing. I don't know, am I making sense?
Yeah. And I think
Yeah.
in certain things that you've just said, I am the same.
I really.
Yeah. But I also think from what, like, I think for some people, possibly you, possibly me, possibly, it doesn't even necessarily need to be people who are ace. Some people just like to understand things that they don't know about or they don't feel about.
Yeah.
So it's not even necessarily like it could be anything. It could be literally, it could be, you could say that about anything. Like, this is going to sound so odd, but you could have never had Spanish food before and then suddenly become so obsessed with how Spanish people cook and everything like that because you don't know about it and you want to understand it, but you're not going out there and cooking you know, Spanish
Mm.
dishes yourself, but you're trying to get an understanding of something so you can like that, so you can possibly maybe be interested in
Yeah.
making Spanish
Even
food.
like at school and stuff, I remember having like sex education. I was like, this is shit. Like, it's not educating me, and I want more. Like, I want to
Yes.
know more, and I want even like the science behind it. I think I actually learned more about sex in science than I did in like PSHE. But
Yeah.
I just remember being like, I want to know, I want to talk about this, and also like friends and stuff. They would probably be immature behind me and be like, like it's a willy, and I'm like, oh look, it's a willy. Like that's what a willy looks like. Do you know what
Please
I
don't
mean?
say Willy.
Sorry, I don't know why I said a willy, but probably because I'm thinking immature. A penis. I'm thinking back to being a child. I never
Yeah.
said penis as a child.
No, 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 you wouldn't. But just haven't heard the word Willy.
Oh my god, I've just icked myself out
It's
so much. That's disgusting. I'm
sorry,
never
sorry,
saying that
listeners.
again.
I knew that this would be a good one. This would be a chaotic one. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. No,
I don't like
I
that.
agree with you. I agree with you because I think on some levels when when I think when we got sex education and even when we got like biology lessons on it, I don't think back in the day, I know we're not elderly, but I don't think even like how education has progressed with certain things and the need for education to have progressed, we didn't get the information. So we were kind of sprinkled this topic, which is a huge deal, but we hardly got any information because it wasn't talked about, because it was just like, at no point when I had my sex education was gay people spoken about.
Well, yeah, that. Yeah,
So
no one was
I think
openly
it,
gay at all at my school.
yeah, and obviously, like me personally, I I date more girls than I do men. And had someone had said that to me when I was 15, 16, whatever, getting this education, and I'd have been more educated around the topic, maybe I would have figured it out earlier.
Oh God, 100%.
So I
And
think you're,
I also guarantee at school asexuality is not spoken about. I would love to hear from anyone who is at school or in education at all. Is asexuality spoken about? Because I don't believe it is.
I don't think it is explicitly taught, but I think in a lot of schools as well, be even now, people do not talk about any other sexuality than heterosexuality.
Yeah.
And I
I think
think, I
I
mean,
think
as far as kind of education levels, I'm not too sure on as children get older, but I think that they it's still centered around people have sex, a man and a woman have sex to have a baby.
mm,
I think it's still very much centered around that, and I
yeah.
think that that's where the problem lies. But I also think that, like, your not even just your fascination, anyone's fascination with it is completely valid, in that you want to understand something that you might not that you have to do, but that you might come across within your life.
Or
And
is like considered the norm and you will do it at some
yeah,
point.
because
Like,
nobody sits there and goes, by the way, you don't ever have to do this.
yeah,
Nobody says that. Nobody says that. Nobody says, by the way, this weird thing that we're talking about, where another person puts part of their body inside your body, you don't have to do that. Like, people don't go around sticking their fingers in people's ears. Like, but you don't have to do it. And it's not spoken about. So then you've got this, right, well, I've got to do this at some point, so I want to understand what I've got to do, how I should be feeling, who I should do it with, why I should be doing it. It makes you ask a lot of questions about it. And I also think, like we've spoken about this before, put movies on, put TV on, play music, and it's there.
yeah.
And these characters are falling in love, and these characters are having sex, and this person's cheated on this person, and I'm gonna write a song about my ex where I slashed his tires because he went out to the bar and did this. And like, it makes you fascinated with it because you cannot escape it. So I don't think, I
Yeah.
know you said about the not using the word obsession, but I don't think your interest or fascination, or anyone's obsession, interest, fascination with it is wrong, because I still think the education is not there. You have to still seek out education, even as a 28-year-old. You still
Yeah.
have to seek out education to understand these things, and you have to do it in a way where actually you go, this makes sense with how I feel, or I've never felt like that before, or I don't want to do this, or actually I think I'd like to try it that way.
Do you know what is actually mad? Is that like the world is obsessed.
Yeah.
People are obsessed. Culture is obsessed with sex. However, it is not spoken about properly or educated about. Is that the right way? It's not like taught about properly
Mhm.
at all. So it's like everyone's just walking around blind, and it is the blind leading the blind. Like
Mhm.
no one is actually actively openly talking about this thing that everyone's obsessed with and is everywhere. And it's like,
And there's an expectation. There is an expectation of things, and I think that puts more pressure on wanting to know more. Like, I know me personally, when I was growing up, and some of my other friends obviously did engage in different activities earlier than I engaged in those activities, and then they'd be talking about it, and I'd be like, well, I don't know about this. I'm gonna have to get on bloody Ask Jeeves, because that's how old I am. I'm gonna have to ask Jeeves about this.
oh God.
Because they're talking about it, and I want to feel included, and I want to understand. but I have no lived experience of this.
But did you know what is like another thing that I don't know if it's just me or whether I'm just admitting here and other people are like gonna be like, oh yeah, that's me, but not admitting it. I don't know if I'm just
No, guys,
really outing
come on, throw yourselves in the comments. Tell us,
it.
email us.
Please
We'll
let me
keep
know it's not
we'll
just me.
keep it anonymous, and
Also, but also not in like a weird way. I wasn't weird about this, but I just remember like when we were at school and people started like kissing properly with like tongues and stuff for the
hmm
first time. And I remember this one of my friends, we were at like a youth club, and I'm pretty sure none of my friends will listen to old friends will listen to this, so it's fine. But they were together and they were like quite a solid couple at that point. We're probably like what 13 or something, and
cute.
they were like getting off with each other. And again, I'm using terminology I would have used at school because
I
I'm
was gonna
talking
say
about school.
I have. Did you get off of him? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Nice.
Just get off. Well, the thing is, that's exactly how the conversation went. It's like, go on, get off then. Like, get off with each other. And it's like they would get off with each other as like almost like a party trick. Almost like,
Yes.
and everyone was like gathering around and watching, and loads of people would be like, oh, like, and look away and be like, oh, can't watch, can't watch, can't watch. And I would be like, oh, can't watch, but like looking through my hands to be like, what are they doing? Like, what, how is this happening? And like, do you know what I mean? I had a weird like interest in it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was a weird interest, but I had an interest in it. And I
Yeah,
was
but
like,
I
I
also
do
think
want to
like
watch. I do want
when
to see what's going
yeah.
on.
Oh yeah, I don't think that's weird, but I think like when when I was in secondary school, they used to do there was a nightclub where I grew up, and they used to do um 16 no 15 to 17 nights,
Oh, yeah.
and you'd go at like 6 p.m. and then the club would close at 9 or
Did
10.
you call them nappy nights?
No.
We'd
Uh,
call them nappy nights.
Imagine a club opening now at like 6 p.m. to let underage people
I
in.
know. That's
Madness.
wild.
It's madness. This is the early noughties, guys. Like, come on. But people would go on like a Wednesday night, and then everyone would come into school the next day, and it would be a chat about like how many people did you get off with, and also like my friends would show me videos on their bloody Sony Ericssons to be like, look at these two kissing, or
Yeah.
like it was a big deal if you had a boyfriend or a girlfriend, your profile picture had to be a picture of you two kissing, but often you would get someone else to take it because we didn't do selfies. Your picture would be you kissing your boyfriend or your girlfriend, and your friend would snap that picture, and like it's I mean, I'm feeling so much nostalgia right now. The
I
amount of
know.
pictures of my friends, they would be like, can you take a picture of me and David kissing? And I'd be like, yeah, no problem.
Let me Bluetooth it over to you.
Yeah, exactly. So, or like, people would make it be like, okay, so and so's asking someone out, and then like, everyone would go, and then they'd ask them out, and they'd say yes, and then they'd kiss in front of everyone.
Yeah. I don't know, like, I just had, like,
It might just be the
I
way that
feel,
we grew up because we
yeah, but
didn't have
I feel like
YouTube
even in those
and things.
situations, I feel like even in those situations, like, my friends would be like, "Oh, can't watch," and I'd be like, "Let me watch," but not in like almost like a pornographic way, like not in a any kind of like, "Oh, I'm getting off on this."
No,
It
you're
was
not
in an
enjoying it in that sense. You're
no,
fascinated by it's like right, this is gonna sound really bad. I'm gonna say it.
oh
It's like
God,
a car crash. You don't
yeah,
want to watch, but you can't look away because you want to be like, I need to see what happens. I need to see how this
yeah,
plays out.
yeah,
It's that kind of interest, and it's like why do people watch murder documentaries? That's a horrible, horrible thing, but you want to watch it because you want to understand what happened, and you want to know from different perspectives, and you want to see how this could have happened, and
oh my God,
any
that's
kind
exactly
of things like that. So it's not weird or obsessive. It's just it's human nature
yeah,
to want to understand things that are normally like sex, relationships, kissing things, those because of when we were brought up, it wasn't spoken about. This is things that happens behind closed doors.
yeah,
So
exactly.
when it happens in the open or when there are things like that, you're like, oh my God, I'm interested in this.
That's so right. Like it's all like almost taboo. So I for me,
Mm-hmm.
I want to know more. And like I'll always remember watching Friends with Benefits for like the first time, and I was like, oh my God, this is such an interesting film. Again, not because I'm like getting off on any of like the sex scenes or anything, but I was so interested in how someone can build a dynamic between
Yeah,
like how you can have that sort of dynamic with someone else. And I was like, I can't wait to have that with someone. I
yeah.
can't wait and like experience those feelings that they're feeling and all this stuff. And I was like, yeah, I just couldn't wait to have those feelings. And now to be asexual and know that like those feelings don't come so easily, I just was devastated in a way,
Yeah.
and sort of like grieving that
That,
loss
yeah, that
of
side of it.
situation, which
I
also
also
is a
think,
great conversation. So maybe we should talk about that again.
yeah, but I also think as well, like, it's one of those things, right? You have to go out into the world and kiss people and have sex with people and do all these other intimate things. Nobody shows you how to do it.
Yeah, or talks about how to do it even.
Yes, you
Like
don't.
not even necessarily showing
Whereas,
you, but
like, when you're growing up, again, this is me with my weird analogy. I think they're analogies, but when you're growing up, there's a whole big deal around learning to tie your shoes. And people show you how to tie your shoes, and you have to practice tying your shoes, and you get help. And, even now, people will go on YouTube, how to tie your shoes tutorial for kids, or how to show kids how to. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, you're expected to do something but nobody shows you how to do it. So why would you not go out there and watch things to learn how to do something?
then we get on like the dangerous path of like where boys or whatever are watching porn that isn't natural and isn't
Yes,
like
exactly. So
the
it's kind of
norm,
like
and
it
that's where it
goes.
gets dangerous.
Yes, but it does. It goes many different ways. But I think in terms of from like your perspective or my perspective, it's come from more of a place of learning and education, but it can quite quickly shift for people into not learning education and the kind of the
Yeah.
the obsession side of it.
But yeah, and I think like it's just I think we're just preaching to the choir here. If only the government could hear this. But it's like if we don't if someone doesn't teach them properly and safely and realistically, then they're going to find their own education and it's going to be dangerous and it's going to
Did
lead
you
to awful situations, etc.,
did
etc.
you
So
watch the Netflix series? Have you seen Adolescence?
no, I haven't got Netflix, but I'm staying at my friend's this week, and she said we can watch it. So yeah, I want to
I
watch
would
it from.
definitely get on it. It's a very interesting. Obviously, it's not. It's I've read somewhere that it isn't based on a true story, and I've read somewhere that it is loosely based on a true story. But it really gives an insight into how sex is viewed by young people, and obviously the devastating effects that it can have on someone.
Mm.
Um, it's I think it's only about 4 episodes. And Stephen Graham is
I
absolutely
mean, yeah, I
fantastic.
want to watch it for like the story, for the acting. I want to watch it for like the behind, not behind the scenes, but I
But
want to see
also
the acting and the fact that it's all filmed in one shot and
yeah,
stuff. I want to watch
I
it.
didn't think that I would like that. But actually I think that it was a really brilliant way of showing how people interact in the situation and showing the different perspectives
Yeah,
of the situation. But I think that that also comes from a place of it's not necessarily in someone who isn't educated. It's you see this child talking about the expectations that people have on young people in terms of relationships and sex, and you can see how obviously for him it spiraled in a different way, whereas you can see that it's about being educated on a topic that is expected of people but isn't taught.
taught. Yeah, exactly. There we go. Just one more thing because we're running out of time. But
Yeah.
another thing, I'm just going to out myself again since we're on the topic, and I don't think I'll be able to bring it up with any other topic. Like even my fascination with sex goes as far as like even when I'm on the train, um, I will picture someone like having sex.
Oh, I do this. No,
Sorry,
no, I have spoken about this with my friends, like in
have
real life,
you?
because
Because
there'll
I
be
get
certain
really worried that it is just me, and I'm like, am I just being like a weirdo? But honestly, I picture people, and I'm
no,
like, I wonder what you're like having sex and like how you sort
because
of conduct that environment.
there's certain people who we've interacted with my friends, and like one of us, I've said it a few times, other people have said it, it's not even just you and it's not just me, where you go, you can't really imagine her having sex, can you? And someone goes,
Literally.
no way, not at
Like
all.
I would
So I think
picture
it's a
like,
thing that people do.
okay.
Or even when you see couples as well, you kind of look at them and you go, I can't imagine you
I think
doing that.
I think honestly, whether it's a couple in like that I don't know that I've just walked past or a
Hmm.
couple I've been introduced to or whatever, one of my first thoughts is picturing them like having sex. Like I wonder how that sort of works or like do you know what I mean? But
Yeah, I think
I
especially
even
when you find out about people's personalities and you see
yeah.
the way that they are. I saw a TikTok and I'll have to send it to you because it really, really tickled me. And it's this girl and she's scrolling on her phone and she's looking at pictures of dogs and she's going, chow chow baby chow chow. And her friend goes, how do you get anyone to have sex with you? And it's
Oh,
like, it shows her real personality. And it's like, if you get to know someone's real personality, you can kind of be like, that's an interesting dynamic. I can't really
but not even that. Like
picture
honestly,
you.
walking down the street, seeing a couple hold hands, first thing I'm thinking, wonder how you have sex, or like wonder what that situation is. But also like when I was at school, I'd think about not in a weird way, honestly, I promise you, not in a weird way, but like in an intriguing way. I'd be like, I wonder how that happens for you. Or like
But
also
I think that that's coming from a place of you not necessarily
curiosity.
of curiosity, yeah, definitely, but also you not necessarily feeling the same feelings that that person because like we've spoken about trying to understand from someone else's perspective, and I think for us
Yeah,
we
but
don't get those feelings, so we don't understand it, so we try and we imagine it through other people.
at this point, I didn't know that I was asexual. I just thought I was
Oh, okay.
immature. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
fair.
This is what I mean. It's like it doesn't come from an asexual nature or like thought. It comes. It's always been there.
Yeah, but it could have come from an asexual thought, but you just weren't aware.
It could have, yeah. But also, I just thought I was so aware that like I was so young that I was like those feelings just haven't developed yet. Like they will come with
Yeah.
life experience, etc., etc.
But also, you're sitting there saying, "No, I'm outing myself. I'm outing myself." So many people, and people who aren't ace, and people who are in relationships, and all of these people just don't. They
Talk
won't
about
admit
it.
it. They
No, I
won't.
know.
They won't put the big
Yeah.
girl pants on and be like, "I'm outing myself now." Like, so it could just be one of those things where it's like, so many of your friends, my friends, anyone could do exactly the same thing, but they wouldn't have the kind of I hate saying they wouldn't have the balls. They wouldn't have the vagina to be like, oh yeah, I do that. Because
But
the
yeah,
reaction from people would be like, oh well, that's weird. I don't do that. Mm. But it's like actually,
yeah.
yes, you do. You just won't admit it because it's taboo. It's not talked about. So
Interesting. Also, like, what's the first thing you think of when someone tells you they're pregnant?
you has sex.
That's literally the first thing I think.
My
I'm like,
my
no, you
friend,
had sex.
my
What was
friend
that like?
told her dad. She told her dad that he was going to be a granddad, and when he saw her and her husband, when she said, Dad, I'm pregnant, he went, well, I know what you two do in your spare time. And
Literally, that's what. Honestly,
when
that's
people say I'm
sexual.
trying for a baby, and you're like, thank you for telling me that you and your husband have sex on the schedule. Like, thank you.
Literally, that is honestly, that's what I think of. And I'm like, oh, I wonder what that situation was. And I pictured the situation. Do you know what I mean?
It's just it's a fascinating thing, and you have to see how many experts there are and people who do like sex therapists and how many articles and how many
Yeah.
studies people are interested in it. So I personally don't think that you're weird for it,
Okay. Well, this is like a
but
therapy session for
you
me.
know take what I say with a pinch of salt because I'm not an expert, and also
I just didn't
could
know if
also be a
like
massive weirdo. So
I honestly it's been my whole life I've just been very interested in it in the act and um and I still am and I genuinely it's like if I see someone on the like I'll just be sat opposite some random person on the tube and I'll be like wonder what you're like in bed kind of thing like do you know what I mean or like I'll meet someone professional and I'll go home and I'll be like oh do you know what I mean? I don't know.
yeah,
But that's me. And also, this is going to be a long ass episode, so we need to wrap it up. Have you got anything else to say?
no, not really. I like that episode. I think that was a very interesting topic to speak about. Actually, it's made me think
Yeah.
think about things a little bit. which is
It's
good.
made me feel better because it has made me feel
Good.
less of like what's it, not a prude, the opposite to a prude basically. Like sex obsessed, like, or I don't know.
Horny.
Yeah, and I'm not. I'm actually just not a horny gal. Oh God. Maybe
You
I'll
have got to clip that for TikTok.
no, because I'll just get loads of backlash being like, "You're not asexual. You just got a low libido or whatever," and I'm like, "Fuck off."
Ah,
Anyway, right. Guys, thank you so much for listening. I don't know what the hair's doing now. Again, if you're watching this on YouTube, I apologise for any kind of look I've been giving. um, yes, thank you so much. Remember to like, rate, subscribe, comment, Instagram DM, TikTok DM, email, all that stuff. Please keep it coming because it's so lovely to hear from you all. Anything else you want to say?
no, that was a perfect ending.
Fantastic. Goodbye, everyone. See you. Oh, hear you. No, you'll listen to us next time. What?
You always say coming in your ears, so you know.
I'm going to stop saying that. Hope you enjoyed this week's episode. Can't wait to come at you with the next one. For God's sake. Because I said come. For God's
You
sake.
paused after you said it.